Now, there is classification of polymers on the basis of the repeating units, on the basis of monomers. So we have got two types of polymers. We have got homopolymers and copolymers. What I said? Homopolymers, and the second one is copolymers. From the name itself we can know homopolymers means the polymers in which the repeating units or the structural units are derived from only one type of monomer. Alright, in which the repeating unit is only just one type. The structural unit is only one type, due to which it forms a polymer. Means the monomer is just of only one type. Alright, only one type. For example, ethene. Only one repeating unit is there. That is ethene, which gives rise to polyethene. Vinyl chloride, only one repeating unit is there, which gives rise to polyvinyl chloride. Next, propene, which gives rise to polypropene. So when the repeating unit is just only one type, it is said to be as what? Homopolymer. We can say that. Again, I repeat, polymer in which the repeating unit, the structural unit are derived from what you can say, one type of monomers. We can say that. From only one type of monomer is called as a homopolymers. I give you the examples. Next, copolymers, the polymers in which the repeating structural units are derived from more than one type of monomers. More than one type of monomers are called as copolymers. We can say that. For example, we can say like we are having styrene and we are having butadiene. We are having styrene and we are having butadiene. It polymerizes to form styrene butadiene rubber, SBr. Styrene butadiene rubber, SBr. What I said you? We are having butadiene and we are having styrene. Alright, there is copolymers I am talking to you. There is butadiene means it is butadiene. See, CH2, then CH, then CH, it is CH2. N molecules, we can say that, N molecules will react. This is your butadiene. Butadiene. You can see very clearly, 1,3-butadiene. Butadiene, or you can say 1, 2, 3, 1, 3 butadiene. That's it. Or buta-1,3-diene. We can also say. Got it? We can also say buta-1,3-diene. That also can be said. Clear? Fine. Anything. So now N molecules of styrene. What is styrene? Benzene ring CH double bond CH2. Alright. So this is your styrene. This is on a styrene. Clear? It undergoes polymerization. Alright. It undergoes polymerization. To form what? To form SBr. That is styrene butadiene rubber. We can say that. SBr. So how it is going to form SBr? Very simple. Now from here one bond will take it out. See here. It will form CH. Same thing. We'll balance it later on. First let us write it down. CH. Then CH. Got it. Then this CH will be this particular one. CH. We'll take this particular CH. CH. Then single bond CH. Then benzene ring, a small one I am doing. I don't have the place here. Alright. So whole N. Now here one bond will be there. Now let us see here. It is CH2. Alright. Then here double bond CH. See here. Bond is satisfied. Count it also at the same time. Carbon and satisfied. Then CH2. Then it will be, what is that? Single bond CH2. Alright. Then single bond CH. See here. Count it and see. So in this way we got it, styrene butadiene rubber. This is said to be as SBr. Got it? Butadiene and styrene. This is your styrene. STYRENE, styrene. So they combine together to form styrene butadiene rubber. This is known as a copolymer. This is called as a copolymer. So in case of copolymer, the monomer unit is not one type. It is of number of basically two types. Two or more than two types we can say to be as. So in this way. Now next is on the basis of formation of polymerization, we have got two types of polymers. One is addition polymerization and then another is condensation polymerization. Addition polymerization and another is your condensation polymerization. Now process of addition occurs through a chain mechanism via active centers. Alright, from the active centers the process of addition takes place. Ethene, another ethene, another ethene, another ethene. Propene, another propane, another propane, another propane. How it is added? By that help, by what you can say double bond, breaking of the double bond. Because double bond is an active center. Already I have said you. That is the reactive sites. From there, the chain is being grown. The chain is being added. What I am saying? Added. So hence it is coming under what type of polymers? Additional polymerization. That is called as. Got it? This one as addition polymerization. These active centers could be free radicals. It can be carbocations or carbanions. These active centers can be. It can be carbocations, means carbon having positive charge. Carbanions means carbon having negative charge, excess of electrons, and it can be free radicals, means some free electrons will be there present in it. So in this way, what we find is that when the active sites contains is either free radicals or carbocations or carbanions, and the addition takes place, one monomer is added to another, another is added to another, another is added to another, and then hence it forms a long chain of monomers, long chain of repeating units. Alright, what is that known as? That is called polymers. And what type of polymer it is called as an addition polymerization. The process is known as addition polymers. We can say that. For example, as I gave you the example, ethene, which gives rise to polyethene, propene, which gives rise to polypropene, vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride means CH2 double bond CHCl. Vinyl chloride, which gives rise to PVC, polyvinyl chloride. We can say that. Now, next is condensation polymerization. Now, in case of condensation polymerization, the polymerization usually occurs between monomers containing two or more functional groups. Containing two or more functional groups in case of condensation polymerization. And in case of condensation polymerization, either some what you can say smaller molecules is being removed from the site of the reaction. That is the meaning of the word condensation. You have earlier also studied condensation reaction. In condensation reaction, what happens? Two smaller molecules combines to form a macromolecule, a bigger molecule. With or without the elimination of molecules, smaller molecules like water, ammonia, nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, HCl, HF, etc., etc., we can say that. With or without the elimination, we can say that. But here, suppose if some water molecule is eliminated, here what will be eliminated? Because I am talking of organic compound. So here sulfur will not come, nitrogen will not come, HCl will not come. So here water is going to come basically. So what you will find is that when water molecule is being removed, alright, upon addition of two monomers, it's known as what? That reaction is called as what? Condensation reaction. Already said what is a condensation reaction. When two smaller molecules combine to form a bigger molecule, a macromolecule, with or without the elimination of a smaller molecule like water, ammonia, HCl, H2O, H2O I'm saying, SO2, CO2, etc. Alright, so here what will happen is that water will be removed from the site of the reaction and hence the two monomers will be added up and it will give rise to a polymer. What is that polymerization called? It is called as condensation polymerization. Let me give an example to you, then you will understand it. Alright, condensation polymerization. Let me give an example. So, let us take here what you can say that is adipic acid. Let us take here and hexamethylene diamine. Alright, let us take here what I said, adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine. So, hexamethylene N molecules of diamine I am saying NH2 CH2 whole 6 hexamethylene I said na hexa. So 6 methylene groups are there and another NH2. This is one monomer. This is one monomer which is hexamethylene diamine plus N molecules of adipic acid. What is adipic acid? In benzene ring, that is benzene ring I am saying, that is CH2 group, 4 CH2 group will be there and COH group will be attached to it. Got it? So that is HOOC. Why I am writing in this way you will come to know. CH2 whole 4 then COOH. We can say, see here. So what will happen here? That is water molecule is removed. So let me now break up this one so that it will be easy for you to understand. Here NH, H and here also NH and H. So this H and OH. N molecules of OH, N molecules of H reacts to form N molecules of water. One N water, you got it. Here also same thing, N molecules of H and from here that is N molecules of OH. Reacts to form what? Another N molecules of water. So 2 N molecules of water is being removed and whatever is left, that is a polymer. Alright, so this is your hexamethylene diamine, this is your adipic acid. They react in this way, you can see here, this is one water molecule is removed, N molecules of water. From here NH and here that is OH. So in this way N molecules of another N molecule of water is removed. So 2 N molecules of water is removed to form what? It is undergoing polymerization. So what will be the product? Very easy to write. What is remaining? That is the product. So that is NH, then CH2 whole 6, then it is NH, then C double bond O, then CH2 whole 4, then C double bond O whole N. Alright, whole N. So in this way you can see here I have left a bond and here also I have left a bond. Alright, so it forms what? It is nothing but a polymer, and the name of this particular polymer is nylon 6,6. Why it is called 6,6? Because here 6 carbon. Here you can see 4 plus 2, 6 carbon. So it is known as nylon 6,6. Don't read as 66. It is known as 6,6 because 6, 6. Here 6 carbon, here 6 carbon. So it is called as nylon 6,6. So it is coming under what type of polymerization? That is condensation polymerization, so to say. Now, next is classification of polymers on the basis of the growth of polymerization, on the basis of its growth, on the basis of the type I have said you, that is addition and condensation. Now, basis of the growth of the polymer. So we have got chain growth and we have got step growth polymers. We can say that. What I said you, chain growth polymers, and we have got step growth polymers. Alright. Now, I hope you understood this one. Now, first one will come to, that is chain growth polymerization. First one will come to is chain growth polymerization. The polymers formed by the successive addition of monomer units, got it, to the growing chain having a reactive intermediate is called as a chain growth polymers. Alright, what I said, the polymers formed by the successive addition of monomer unit. Successive addition of monomer units to the growing chain having a reactive intermediate. To the growing chain having a reactive intermediate. Reactive intermediate may be free radical, it may be carbocation or carbanion, is called chain growth polymerization. Again I repeat, the polymers formed by the successive addition of monomer units to the growing chain having a reactive intermediate is known as chain growth polymerization. So in case of chain growth polymerization, first we have to initiate, then the chain will propagate, then the chain will terminate. Because once we start the process, that is called initiation. Then second step is that the chain is going to propagate, it becomes longer. Then you have to stop the process somewhere. The process has to stop, that is called as chain termination. So chain initiation, then what you can say chain propagation, and the final is your chain termination. So for this purpose we will take an example and we will see this particular one. So what we will do is that we will take an organic peroxide, that is RCOO, that is COR. This is your organic peroxide, you know that? Clear? That is RCOO, then COR. It is organic peroxide. When it is being heated, it is heated. What is going to form? It is going to form, that is nothing but, you can see here, there two RCOO group is there. You can see here. This is one group, this is another group, isn't it? It is going to form 2R, then COO. See, RCOO, here also RCOO. And hence we get a free radical here. Because this oxygen is the last oxygen is not having two bonds. It is having only one bond, which the bond is which is attached to this oxygen atom. The bond which is attached to this oxygen atom only, it does not have one bond. So due to the absence of that bond, we are having a electron, the free electron present in it. So it acts as what? A free radical, so to say, it acts as. Now, which upon heating further will give you 2R, that is R single bond R. We can also write it in this way, R single bond R, and plus, that is 2 molecules of CO2. It is going to form, that is R single bond R and 2 molecules of CO2. Got it? Now this R single bond R, of course, here individually, if I write this as 2R in this way, R single bond R also we can write, or if I write it in this way, it will be better for you to understand, because here alkyl group is having one free radical present in it. Got it? So you can see a free radical is being formed. Got it? So this is your nothing but it's the chain initiation we have started. Now we'll propagate the chain. Got it? So what will happen? This free radical will react with ethene, CH2 double bond CH2. this free radical will react with ethene, that is CH2 double bond CH2, to form, that is nothing but R CH2 CH2, then in this way. So this will again further react with, the propagation means again further it will react with ethene, that is CH2 double bond CH2. Again it is going to form R CH2 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 CH2. In this way it will go on. In this way the chain is going to propagate. So this is your initiation, this is your propagation. Now in this way the chain is going to propagate. Now the chain termination, how will you terminate? You will remove, got it? You will remove the, what you can say, the site, or what I should say here, that is nothing but the active centers you will remove from the site of the reaction. Now what is active center here? The free radicals you are going to remove from the site of the reaction. Alright, or you are going to remove the ethene. You are going to stop the what you can say, the ethene which you are giving in every step. You are going to stop this particular one. Either the free radicals or the ethene, you are going to stop it. When you are going to stop it, then the chain is going to terminate. How it is going to terminate? This will finally form R CH2 CH2. How many CH2? N numbers of CH2 it can have, and R. Finished. In this way the chain got terminated in this way. So first is your initiation, then is your propagation, then is your termination. This is called as chain growth polymer, so to say. Okay, fine. Now next is your step growth polymers. In step growth polymerization, what you find is that one after another the step is being added. First one step, then again the second step, then again the third step. In this way it is being added. So it is nothing but known as step growth polymers, we can say that. Alright, now here what we'll do is that, here we'll be doing it in this particular manner. So in step growth polymers, what will happen? See here. For example, one monomer is A, another monomer is B. It undergoes polymerization to form AB. Then again it reacts with another A to form ABA, and again it reacts with B to form AB in this way. So in this way what you find is that one after another, this is the first step, the second step, the third step. In this way this is called as a step growth polymers. Step growth polymers. Now the question you might be thinking of, that how to terminate this process? Very easy. Any of the reactant you remove from the site of the reaction. Any of the reactant you remove it from the site of the reaction, or you can remove both the reactant also from the site of the reaction. Once you want to terminate, the reaction gets terminated. Alright, the reaction gets stops. So in this way we are having two types of growth of polymers. One is known as the chain growth, another is known as the step growth. In chain growth, initiation, propagation, termination, we can say that. And here one after another the step is being added. If you want to terminate the step, just you remove the active centers, that is the monomers, from the site of the reaction. The chain will get terminated, we can say that. Clear? So in this way, that is the example which I gave you, the last one, nylon 6X. It comes under step growth polymerization, so to say, we can say that. Clear? Now the classification of polymers on the basis of the molecular forces. On the basis of molecular forces, we'll see the classification of polymers. The first is your elastomers. On the basis of molecular forces means, see, the molecular forces basically which holds the polymers is your weak van der Waals forces. Then we are having the dipole-dipole moment, we can say that. And we are having the polar bonds which is being present in it. Got it? Which is known as dipole-dipole moment, we can say that. And also we have got the hydrogen bonding also. It might be present in the particular, what you can say, molecule along the chain of the polymers, we can say that. Now based upon it, the first polymers is your elastomers, we can say. Elastomers. The first polymer is elastomers. Now elastomers, the polymers in which the polymeric chains are held together by weak intermolecular forces are termed as elastomers. The polymers in which the polymeric chains are held together by weak intermolecular forces are called as elastomers. Weak intermolecular forces are being present here, not strong. They are called as elastomers. Got it? So due to the presence of cross-linking in it, they have got weak intermolecular forces present in it. Achha. Now next is we'll come to the next one is your fibers. The second one we can say is fibers. So fibers, it is the word, you have heard it in biology. we have studied. The polymers consisting of strong intermolecular forces between the polymeric chains are called as fibers. Just opposite of that of elastomers. In case of elastomers, we have got the weak intermolecular forces, the van der Waals forces. And due to the presence of cross-linking, it has got the weak intermolecular forces. But here, due to the presence of strong dipole interactions, we can say that we have got strong intermolecular forces. So what I can say, the polymers consisting of strong intermolecular forces between the polymeric chains are called as fibers. It has got hydrogen bond, strong dipole interactions present in it. So due to the presence of strong intermolecular forces, fibers, they have got high tensile strength, they have got high modulus of elasticity. Alright, they have got high tensile strength and they have got high modulus of elasticity. And in case of elastomers, the polymers, due to the presence of weak intermolecular forces, the polymers consist of randomly coiled polymeric chains, we can say that. So when the force is applied, the random coiled chains opposes each other, and rather it opens up. Alright, the chain they oppose each other and they open up, because by opposing it becomes they repel one another. Alright, and due to repulsion they open up. Alright, and the polymers get stretched, we can say that. So in case of elastomers, this thing happens. Alright. Now next is the examples of fibers is your nylon 66 or any polyesters, we can say that, like Terylene, Dacron, we can say that it comes under it. Alright, or any polyacrylonitrile nitrile like Orlon, Perilan. Alright, so they come under it, we can say that. Now next is your thermoplastics, the polymers in which the intermolecular forces of attraction are intermediary to those of elastomers and fibers are called as thermoplastics. What I said, the polymers in which the intermolecular forces of attraction are intermediary to those of elastomers and fibers are called as thermoplastics. Are intermediary. Intermediary means it lies in between. When the intermolecular forces of attraction lies in between to those of fibers and elastomers are called as thermoplastics. We can say that. So thermoplastics are linear polymers with no cross-linking. Got it? Present between the polymeric chains. They soften on heating. When you heat thermoplastic, they become soft. We can say that. Got it? And at room temperature, they are quite hard. On heating, they become soft. But at room temperature, they are quite hard. We can say that. The thermoplastics, we can say. So, and the examples of thermoplastic is polythene, then polypropene, polyvinyl chloride, polystyrene, etc. We can say that. Next is plasticizers. Plasticizers, P-L-A-S-T-I-S-I-Z-E-R-S. Alright, P-L-A-S-T-I-S-I, or you can say C-I also, C-I-Z-E-R-S. You can say that, S-I-C-I, whatever it is. Plasticizers. The workability of thermoplastics are at relatively lower temperature can be increased by the addition of certain organic compounds. Alright, now thermoplastics, they on heating they become soft, isn't it? At low temperature only they work, but at low temperature they are not so reactive. So the workability can be increased by addition of certain organic compounds, and those organic compounds are called as plasticizers. Plasticizers helps to soften, become soft, the thermoplastics, we can say that, at lower temperature, and thus make their molding easier. We can mold it very easily.